Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and today we are doing my team selection video for Game Week 13. We're going to be going through our scores from Game Week 12 and then we're going to move on to some team selections, some transfers and some captaincy choices that I need to make ahead of Game Week 13. Hopefully this is going to be pretty final. And guys, let me tell you, I know I've been pretty complacent with some of my transfers recently, but we're going to make some exciting transfers this week. Let me tell you that for sure. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be good. So if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Really helps out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here as well. But before we go any further, just a quick shout out to our sponsors today, which is of course OneFootball, a great mobile app / website for all things football. Now, OneFootball is great because it shows you all of the lineups for all of the games all over the world. So any football game you can pretty much possibly think of, it's got all of the lineups and scores and everything like that all on one app. You can check out the stats, you can check out lineups as they come in, you can check out who's playing, who's getting subbed off, and it's really useful, particularly in those games you are not watching, to have that app on your phone. Flick it up immediately, see what's going on, and it's also a great source of football news and transfer rumours. We are getting towards January. There are going to be some transfer happenings and some managerial switches as well. So all on one app, completely free. You can check it out using the link in my description, or maybe if you fancy it, you can use that code as well if you want to scan that with your mobile phone. So there we go, guys. Let's get on with the video. So here we have my Game Week 12 scores. Now let's not beat around the bush, guys. It wasn't a great week for me. It wasn't. I think in the general populace of FPL, I don't think it was a bad week, but it certainly wasn't quite up to standard for the rank that I'm at the moment. So I've gone down from a rank of 81 down to 213, which is definitely not a disaster by any stretch of the imagination. But it's never nice to get a red arrow, is it? We always want to get consistent green arrows. Now, at this kind of rank, I can't expect to get a green arrow every week, so I'm not going to be, complaining about it. I'm not going to say, oh, I feel really sorry for myself. Absolutely not. I can't expect to be, have a green arrow every single week. What I really want to do is make sure I do stick around, I kind of want to be in the top 500 come chip season when the double game weeks start coming up. Then we can utilize some chip strategy to push up those really high places. The key really is to make sure I'm staying ahead of the game and staying at the top. Now, we kind of look through my team, and maybe what's happened here is, like I said, maybe I've become a little bit complacent with my transfers, thinking my team is good enough, when maybe I've kind of drifted slightly away from the template. We are going to rectify that using our transfers, but what we've basically got a situation here is my formation right now is something I like to call the 4-4 poo. The reason it's called the 4-4 poo is because the defenders are amazing, the midfielders pretty good, the forwards, however, are not doing well at all. They're pretty much useless at the moment. Oh well, there's a few forwards that are doing okay at the moment, but certainly not enough, and none that I have personally. So the defense are doing great. You can see the fullbacks are absolutely smashing it, with the exception of Livramento there. Lamptey, even on the bench there, got 6 points before, he locked in that clean sheet before he was subbed out. And maybe the midfielders are slightly drifting away from the template. I know we really like Salah still, but Foden, Havertz and Mbumo not quite doing it. I do think Mbumo was unlucky again, but if you're unlucky so many times in a row, how many times do you just say, okay, maybe it's just not quite good enough for our fantasy teams? But overall, I'm not going to be down on myself, but I do think that this is, any red arrow maybe should be an indication that maybe you are not quite where you want to be in terms of your team. So yeah, maybe try and kind of fix some of the mistakes, try and move on, try and adapt to maybe what is a new emerging template, and yeah, just try and sort out my 4-4 poo situation. That's exactly what we're going to do, guys. So let's have a look at how we're going to line up for Game Week 13. So we'll start you off with Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Newcastle at home is the first fixture. So yeah, a really nice fixture here. So we have got some nice fixtures for Ramsdale coming up actually. Manchester United might be a little bit tough, but after that, Everton and Southampton. So we're really still happy with Ramsdale. Still do think he is the best goalkeeper for his price range. Obviously, we got him at 4.5 million. I still think he is the best goalkeeper to have around that price range. Even in the Liverpool game, I know he conceded 4 goals, which led to just 1 point in the end, but he was making plenty of saves. He made 5 saves in that game in total, and he was the Arsenal's man of the match, really. I know probably not man of the match in the whole game, but for Arsenal he was their best player on the pitch, and he seems to be doing that every week. He's really a fantastic goalkeeper, and he's not just keeping well, I'm not saying regular clean sheets, but occasional clean sheets, but he's getting so many save points, he's getting so many bonus points as well. There is a lot to like about Ramsdale right now, and I'm really enjoying owning him as a keeper, even if it doesn't go 100% right every single game week. We know that Liverpool game was going to be tough, we know this Manchester United game is going to be tough, but outside of that, I do still think that he is a really, really good goalkeeper to have. So absolutely happy with him. Roll on this Newcastle at home game. Really hoping for a clean sheet here. I would not be surprised at all if he gets a few save points as well. So really, really exciting there. We've got Trent AlexanderArnold as our first defender. Loads of nice fixtures, starting off with Southampton. Obviously, he had a huge score last week. The fullbacks right now, guys, I tell you, are just absolutely smashing it. They're doing so well, particularly these attacking fullbacks. So, yeah, Southampton at home next. Honestly, genuine shout for potential captaincy here. If Salah wasn't a thing, then we would all probably be thinking about maybe it's time to start captaining some of those fullbacks. And if we're looking at the fullbacks for this week, our home game against Southampton is definitely not a bad place to start, is it, when we're looking? So, yeah, Trent, this is why he is so expensive. You know, he's outscoring the midfielders around the same price as him anyway. He's doing super well. He is getting more and more popular. You know, you've got to kind of get onto these fullbacks by now, guys, right? Amazing stuff. We've got Cancelo up next. He's got a home game against West Ham. Not the easiest fixture in the world, but we did kind of see West Ham kind of not looking too good in their last game against Wolves. And if they're anything like that, then I think, again, Man City are going to be in a situation where they can keep another clean sheet. And Cancelo, oh my word, the passing, the how frequently he's shooting as well. Cancelo is insane. I honestly think that he could be the best fullback in world football right now. He is just incredible. I mean, can you even call him a fullback? Yes, he's playing at left back, but he's actually kind of playing as more of a midfielder in many respects, isn't he? Really, can you even call him a fullback anymore? I don't know. This is kind of the way the game is going, and that's going to kind of reflect on our lineups and our transfer moves as well, which we'll talk about in a second, guys. But yeah, Cancelo, really expecting big things again, as I do every single week for him. He's an absolute beast as long as he starts, and maybe he gets rested in a hectic fixture schedule, you know, particularly as Manchester City do have some options, but it's competitive in the Premier League right now. They're going to need their best players, and Cancelo is one of, if not their best player. And I'm being deadly serious that you could genuinely put up a good argument to say that Cancelo is Man City's best player at the moment. I really believe that. We've got Reece James next, who is absolutely on fire. We saw even in the Champions League, he was scoring a goal, banging them in. He's taken so many shots. Last week, he had that goal disallowed for offside. Chilwell, I believe, was offside just before James did get a goal there. So he is on fire. What's incredible about Reece James is that not only is he listed as a defender, not only is he playing super attacking, you know, playing so far up the pitch, playing basically as a midfielder, but he's also an excellent finisher. He is honestly one of the best finishers in the Premier League, or it certainly seems that way at the moment. So when he does get those chances, even if he has like a fairly low XG, which, let's be honest, he doesn't have a low XG. He has a really high XG for a defender. But even if he does, you know, he is going to score those opportunities that a lot of other players would not score, because he is just a really good finisher. And when you're getting clean sheets, when you're getting goals, when you're getting assists and being creative as well, that spells so many points. So Manchester United at home, how well are Manchester United going to do? Now they haven't got Ollie as manager anymore. I don't know. It's a little bit of a mystery, and we'll kind of see what happens there. They are in a transitional period. I don't think United are necessarily going to have a new manager bounce, a new sense of direction, a new sense of purpose, not until the new manager arrives. So I'm still expecting Chelsea to go there and potentially batter them. And if Manchester United do get battered, as they have been getting battered, over the last few games in the Premier League, then what we're going to see is James on the score sheet. He's going to be on the score sheet. Hopefully we can get a clean sheet as well. And just everything is amazing. Everything is awesome. We've got Livramento next in the team. Now, he's got Liverpool away, so this is not an ideal fixture. So I was kind of looking through the fixtures that Livramento has, and I'm actually wondering how many good fixtures he has left. We kind of maybe have expelled all of his good fixtures already. So a really nice player to have had, but is he the player that we want going forward? That is a consideration, that is a question, and that is something that we may be talking about in a little while. Yeah, potentially transferring out Livramento. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in just a few minutes. And we're going to finish off the defence here with Tariq Lamptey. So yes, guys, we are going for a 5-man defence. And I think this may be the first time ever since playing FPL I have intentionally gone for a 5-man defense. And the reason why I'm doing this is because that just seems to be the way the game is changing, and going for a 5-man defense seems a little bit like a cheat code in a way, because when you look through these defenders, maybe with the exception of Livramento, which, like I said, maybe we're going to address, with the exception of Livramento, the defenders are not really defenders, are they? You know, they're defenders in the, you know, historical sense, but they don't play the same way as defenders used to play back in the day. And I think adapting to that knowledge is a huge advantage, a huge cheat code in FPL, because these guys are, you know, getting goal contributions at midfielder levels, yet they get an extra point for a goal, they get extra points for clean sheets, they get bonus points when they do get clean sheets, and they get just so many points in general. We saw last week Trent, Cancelo, James, you know, all of these players scoring 9 or more points. Trent, Cancelo and James all scoring, you know, 12, 13, 14, 15 points, and they're doing this very, very regularly as well. So these are the players we want right now. These are, you know, this is a sign of where the game of football is, where the Premier League is at the moment. The fullbacks are attackers. They are not defenders anymore, and we can have such an advantage here by packing our teams with them. So that's what we're going to be doing. Lamptey is another one of those examples. What I like about Lamptey is he often gets subbed off as well before 90 minutes, so he does lock in that clean sheet a little bit early. Kind of a nice thing with a defender in a way. But Lamptey, again, a super attacking player. We saw he got a, you know, a really good opportunity to score last week. He didn't score it, but, you know, it's a positive sign that Lamptey is a player who is going to be playing in a super attacking positions in the box, taking shots on, getting big chances, getting key passes in as well. We've seen him do it many times before. That's why we've taken the punt and brought him in last week with the idea that we're going to start actually playing him in our fantasy teams this week. Very exciting. Let's see how Lamptey does. He's so low ownership. I feel like we're kind of going to be a little bit of the Lamptey fan club over here on the FPL Mate channel a little bit, because he is not really owned by very many people in the world, is he? So he's going to be our big differential in many ways. But anyway, let's move on to into midfield. We've got Mo Salah, really obvious one there. Southampton at home should be another good game for him, really, isn't he? He's killing it. Fair enough, he had a couple of games in the Premier League where he didn't score, but we've seen in last game, you know, against Arsenal, he scores. We see against, you know, in the Champions League as well, against Porto, he scores. So he is still on red hot flames. He's going to Southampton, and although Southampton have been kind of slowly, maybe sneakily, one of the better defences in the league, kind of gone under the radar a little bit as not actually such a bad defence, I do think that at home you do back Salah to go there and score a couple of goals, don't you? Definitely. You definitely back him. So we are going to be backing him again. We've got Phil Foden. A little bit disappointed last game week. I really thought last game week, and the reason why I was so keen to hold on to Foden last week was because I really thought he was going to be playing as the forward in that game. I thought he was going to play as a striker. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen, and he was playing quite wide on the left wing, and was limited in the amount of chances that he got. But we do still see that Foden has the ability to score goals when presented with the opportunities. He does get chances. Maybe he didn't get too many chances last game week, but this game week, you know, again, we got to back him. We got to back our boy. He was rested midweek. There is some indication that maybe he had a slight minor injury. So I do still think that he's going to be available for the weekend against West Ham, because he has been training. Foden is in training, but he wasn't available for the Champions League team, which is maybe a slight concern. Is he going to be available for the weekend? Is it a case of we're resting Foden ready for the weekend? I don't know for sure, but I'm going to remain positive until I hear other news, and we're going to assume the Foden is going to be available. But maybe if you have got Foden, it's maybe a good idea to wait until you do receive definite news before making those transfers, because the last thing you want to do is use up your transfers, then you've got to take -4s and stuff to remove Foden if he is unavailable to play. And then we've got Kai Havertz. Kind of the end of the road for Kai Havertz. I'm sure we're all in agreement here. He is going to be the player I've been saying this all week. He is going to be the player that I remove from my team this week. I think it's just kind of has to be done. It has to be done. Lukaku's back, Werner's back, Pulisic is back, Ziyech is looking good, Hudson-Odoi is looking good, Mason Mount what's game time. There is limited positions and lots of competition there, and Kai Havertz, I think, is kind of naturally going to drop out of that Chelsea team, and I think his minutes are going to be pretty limited over the next few game weeks, potentially, for the rest of the season, depending on form, because he hasn't been on red hot form or anything like that. There's no real strong reason to not replace him immediately on the team with Lukaku and Werner. So those guys are going to come in for Chelsea, and Havertz is going to be maybe more of a 1-point bandit. It's taking up a lot of money, taking up a space in your team. I'm not really feeling it. I don't think it's going to be too good. And finally, we've got the almighty troll and Mbumo, who looks positive every game, hitting the post, getting goals disallowed every single game week. It happens over and over again. When is luck going to go his way again? When is he going to get that luck back? It's got to happen at some point. Now, maybe a game against Everton is a good one. Everton have been one of the worst defences in the league over the past 5 game weeks. They're showing some really bad defensive stats. So yes, this is going to be an opportunity once again for those Brentford guys to potentially get on the score sheet. Whether it will happen or not, we don't know, because like I say, these Brentford guys and Boomer and Tony are super trolly players who you expect them to do well, and it's just impossible to predict. It's just so much craziness. So who knows? If I had a wild card right now, and Boomer would not make the squad, but there's still that a little bit in me that says if the week I take on Boomer out will be the week that he scores, and a home game against Everton is not a bad week to score in, really, is it? And then finally, we've got just one forward up front. I told you guys, this is a crazy formation. I never thought I'd be playing this formation in FPL, but here we are. We've got to adapt to the times. We've got Harry Kane against Burnley. Positive signs last week from Harry Kane. I know he didn't get on the score sheet, but positive signs. Hot form, 7 goals over the international break, new manager who he clearly respects, a good performance against Leeds, although he wasn't able to get a goal. Perhaps on another day, I do think Kane could have scored in that game. He did have some opportunities, even if they weren't statistical, opportunities. We did kind of see balls kind of nicked away from him at the last second just before he was about to pull the trigger and stuff like that. Leeds have actually been pretty good in defence recently, kind of gone under the radar as a slight and improving defence there, particularly with the reintroduction of Calvin Phillips there. So maybe Kane was up against it a little bit in that Leeds game, and maybe in a game against Burnley where he is going to get a few more opportunities, I don't know, maybe this is the one where he finally rewards all of our patients who've had Kane for a long time, and also rewards people who have recently brought in Kane as well. I do think we are definitely due some attacking returns, some goals from Kane, aren't we? It's got to happen soon. Can this be the game week? Come on, please, this is the game week, right? Let's bring up the bench quickly. Foster, we've got Antonio on the bench there as well. He's away against Manchester City. I know he scored a couple of goals there last season, but realistically, you kind of have to count that as an anomaly. I don't really like, players' records against specific teams. I think that's a bit of a myth in many ways. I don't really believe that, just because players scored against a certain team before, that automatically means they're going to score against them in the future. I think there are some exceptions to that rule, but in general, I don't pay too much attention to it. So away against Man City, not really feeling it, to be honest. There's argument to say if you're just going to bench Antonio, just remove him from your team. But they have, West Ham have these amazing fixtures coming up. I don't blame people for removing him. I think I'm kind of stuck with him in many ways because I bought him at such a cheap price. I'll be losing so much squad value if I take him out, and it's going to be really difficult for me to get him back in at a later date if I want to. So something I really seriously need to consider whether it's worth keeping him or not. But as of this game week, I think I can afford to bench him and try one more time maybe next game week. I'm not sure. There's plenty to think about there, but yeah, guys, who knows? I'm going to keep him this week though. He's going to stay on the bench for now. We've got Brownhill against Spurs at home. Yeah, it's okay. And Broja against Liverpool. So yeah, we're going to leave him firmly on the bench there, an away game, maybe not even starting in that game. Yeah, I'm not feeling that one either. So guys, we've got 2 free transfers, so we absolutely have to use transfers this game week. We've got 1.1 million in the bank. So what am I going to do? Well, like I said, guys, I've been a little bit complacent with my transfers recently. I haven't been too aggressive on my transfers. I want to be aggressive now. I've had a little red arrow. Maybe that red arrow is maybe it shouldn't have taken that red arrow to make me spring into action. But also I think some opportunities have come up, and this is what I am going to do. So we are going to remove Havertz and replace him with Jota. Like I said, end of the line for Havertz. Jota coming into some good fixtures, and he's going to be playing every single game since Firmino is absent. And Livramento's coming out as well, which maybe kind of will surprise some of you. I know Livramento's kind of solidified himself in FPL folklore this season, but like I said, Livramento has not really got many fixtures that I'm interested in playing him in right away until January. There's only a few fixtures that I even consider playing Livramento in. And I do want to have the opportunity, the option to play 5 defenders at the back. Those are the players who are scoring all of the points right now. So let's replace him with Alonso. Yeah, we're on the Alonso train right now. Mark II. We know that Chilwell is going to be injured for quite a long time. We're hearing until the new year at the very least. So until January, and there's a lot of games between now and January, a hell of a lot of games. We're going to go for Alonso. I do think Alonso is going to be playing not every single game, but 4 out of 5 out of 6 games for Chelsea, and that's good enough because we know how attacking Alonso is. We know he basically plays as a striker despite being listed as a defender. We know that he takes free kicks as well and stuff like that. Set pieces is a really good way for defenders to get on the score sheet. And what you see in front of you now, guys, is a defense of non-defenders. That's what this is. None of these players are defenders. They're really not. We have unfortunate that these players have been listed as defenders in FPL because they're not. They are all cheat codes in their own right. Every single one of these players plays in a super advanced position, takes plenty of shots, is really, really creative, and all of them are keys, absolute essential keys to their respective teams' attacks. They really are. And they get points for clean sheets, and they get extra points for goal. Oh my God. This is an amazing, amazing defense. So, yeah, look at this team, guys. I know it's abnormal. But guys, I want to get ahead of the curve here. I want to go for these moves and try out these formations before everyone else is doing them. That way I can try and stay ahead. And if I get it wrong and I drop out of it, fair enough. You know, I will end up in the position in FPL that I deserve to finish in at the end of the day. But why not try something? Let's try and go for it. Like I've been saying all season, I want to win FPL. Is that possible? Technically, is it likely? No. But it becomes even more unlikely if you're unwilling to take those risks. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be absolutely going for it, gung-ho, with 5 at the back. Absolutely incredibly high ceilings here. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing because a few goals conceded and it all goes wrong. But it's all or nothing. I absolutely love it. It's what makes me excited about FPL, going for these risky, bold moves. I love it. I love it, guys. I absolutely love it, guys. So, yeah, tell me what you think about this, I guess, triangle, upside-down triangle formation. Is it representative of a big red arrow pointing down? That's where my rank is going to go. Is that what the arrow is? Or is it an arrow that we're maybe looking at the upside down? And maybe this is the green arrow that's going to shoot me up the ranks. I don't know, guys, but it's fun to find out. It's fun to play, right? So there we go, guys. Yeah, what do you think about that? Not bad. Captains, let's do it very quickly. Salah is going to be the captain for this game week. You know, there's no really doubts about this. It's just a sensible choice to go for. You know, maybe we want to try something different. Maybe we could try a Trent AlexanderArnold or a Kane. I'm not really feeling it. I think we just go for the safe one in Salah. Too many people are going to be captaining Salah this week. That it's not really worth the risk at all. And I don't want to take a massive red arrow if Salah happens to do really well. Not worth the risk. I'm taking risks in other areas of my team. I always prefer to take risks outside of the captaincy, if you like, and just captain the player that I think is going to do the best. And, you know, who's going to do the best? It's probably out of between Salah and Trent, realistically, who's going to score the most points. So we are going to put the vice-captain on Trent AlexanderArnold, but yeah, I just think captain the player you think is going to score the most points. I don't think I'm going to go for a differential just for the sake of differential's sake. No, I just don't think it's worth it. So yeah, this is the team. This is the lineup. That's how we're going to go into Game Week 13. And I'm really excited to see if it works. If it works, basically, that's all the fun, right? There we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like, massively appreciated. And of course, subscribe if you are new around here as well. We've got one more video this week and we're going to be talking about some midfielders. I know a lot of you guys are struggling with what midfielder you want to bring in to your FPL team. So we're going to analyze them all. We're going to do a direct comparison between them and figure out which one is the best. And we are going to find out that answer. Don't you worry about that, guys. So yeah, do stay tuned for that. And there we go, guys. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.